Jim? Do you do much co-production with foreign countries?
We're working on one now called Public House, which is about a fish out of water, with which is about a guy that wins an Irish pub. He's an American that wins an Irish pub and goes over to Ireland to run the pub. It's played by Michael Chiklis from The Shield, and we're doing that as a co-production with Ireland.
Perfect.
Okay, Elaine?
Yeah, I'm curious as to what is lacking in the romantic comedies that you've read so far.
What's lacking in the romantic comedies? Well, first of all, we don't get that many of them, which is interesting, and usually they're either not funny enough or the relationship is not good enough. You know, that's the hardest thing in some of these scripts that we've read. Is it's a good concept, it's funny, but they just can't nail, for whatever reason, the relationship between the two of them, which is it's a hard thing to do.
Well, especially since you have to keep them apart
Yeah.
and create a relationship.
Right. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. So, other questions, Lynn?
Yeah.
So a project comes to your awareness, like your cousin's neighbor or your brother's friend or whatever, and you sit down and you say, I like this script, and you're going to do something with it. What's the process like from there once you've decided you're going to take on the project? You're working with the writer in what way?
Well, either it could be that we want some revisions to the screenplay, but assuming there are no revisions, we'll make a deal with the writer for the screenplay so we get the rights. So we'll option it. So we option the screenplay, and then assuming we decide to finance it, we have to go out and find a director. So we'll go out and go through the process of trying to get agents interested in the screenplay to get a director on board. And then once we have a director on board, we go through the process of making offers to cast, bring cast on board. And then once we get a cast, then we go into prep on the movie. And sometimes the process can be a year or two. You know, it can take 6 months to get a director.
Do you guys have an easier time getting cast because you do finance?
Well, we have an easier time getting cast. First of all, it's very difficult to get cast. That's a meaningful cast that means something. It's very hard to do. But we do have an easier time because we can make them offers, so we're not just attaching them and then if we ever get the financing together, then you can make it. I mean, if we need an actor to greenlight a movie, we'll tell them that if they say yes, they can go and we'll shoot, and we can shoot it 8 weeks from the time they say yes, so they don't have to give up a big studio movie to do our movie because they're not going to get a studio movie in the next 8 weeks because the lead times are a lot longer on those films.
Do you ever do the thing of giving actors the chance to direct or that kind of thing, just to have it be part of the movie?
Noelle, which we did with Susan Sarandon and Penelope Cruz and Paul Walker, and Robin Williams, was directed by Chaz Palminteri. Public House, which we're doing now, which is the Irish movie, is directed by Michael Chiklis, and he's also starring in it. So we haven't a lot, but those are two.
Because sometimes that's a way you're giving them something else that they may be willing to drop their quote for or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get an important actor, the way to do it is to give them something that the studios aren't offering them. You're exactly right. So either, if Vince Vaughn's always doing these high concept comedies and he wants to get back to his roots and do something dramatic, if you can give him a really good dramatic role, he'd probably be interested in it if it was good. Or if whatever important actor always wanted to direct and nobody's giving him a chance to direct, but you'll give him a chance to direct if he's in it, that's good also. So they're always looking for something that they can't normally get through the studio system.
So even though you guys finance, you're still out there fighting the same battle pretty much everybody else is. It's just you have an extra piece to the puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, even though we finance the movies, it's still. I mean, the hardest thing for us is to get good material, which people are always surprised to hear because we get as many screenplays as we want every week, but it's very hard to find good ones. And then once we get that, it's very hard to find a director that's attracted to that material because you'd rather not go with a first-time director. You want to go with a director that the cast will feel comfortable putting their career in. So then it could take a long time, and it is difficult to find a good director. And then once you find that, you have to go through the process of getting the cast, which can be difficult as well.
Yeah, it's all a lot of work. It's quite amazing.
Movie making is a lot of work.
And a lot of speculative work, too.
Yeah.
So, Eric?
When you take on a new project, do you consider a specific demographic?
Well, that's a great question. Yes. That's a very good question because it speaks to what everybody's writing. And it's for example, we've gotten a couple of very good screenplays that are about women that are either in their 50s or 60s that are having, issues with their husbands or whatever it is, which are good screenplays, but it's very hard to get people to go to those movies. The biggest demographic is the 18 to 25 male audience. That's what everybody's looking for, but that's a very hard demographic in the indie demographic, because to get to that 18 to 25 demographic, you have to advertise with very expensive television, which is what the studios are always going after. So, You Kill Me, for example, is a review-driven movie that kind of crosses over. You can get 18 to 25-year-olds that like it, and you can get 25 to 35-year-olds to like it. But so we do look at the demographics, but it's very hard to make a movie that's aimed at a 45-plus audience, because they just don't go to the movies as much.
Well, with the baby boomers, though, don't you think that's going to explode?
For some reason, they don't go to the movies. They don't. People over 45 do not go to the movies in the kind of numbers that the 18 to 25-year-olds do.
They're booming.
Yeah.